All right. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you. My name is Eric D. I'm co-founder and CEO of Bloomlife, and I'm excited to talk to you today about our work, if we get it going here. All right. Bloomlife, we sit at the intersection of two very large trends. One is the shift of healthcare to the home, and the second is the increasing demand and critical need for new ways of delivering maternal care. So why focus on maternal care in the first place? Well, we are in the midst of a global maternal health crisis, and especially in the United States. On one hand, there's been a significant increase in the rates of high-risk pregnancies due to more rates of chronic disease, women having babies later in life, but there's just a lot more women that need care during pregnancy. At the same time, there's a critical shortage of maternal health care providers. The latest data from March of Dimes indicates it's actually getting worse in the U.S. About 50% of the U.S. is considered maternity care deserts or areas with low access to obstetric care. And the net result of all of this is that in the US, a pregnant woman today has a 50% higher likelihood of dying during childbirth than her mother did. And this is like tip of the iceberg, because every mom that dies, there's tens of thousands that suffer from some sort of complication during pregnancy that impacts them the rest of their life. So we need better ways to deliver care. And that's where Bloomlife comes in. Bloomlife has been developing a full-stack remote care platform to improve access to care through a combination of connected devices, data analytics, and clinical services. And the whole idea is to enable healthcare providers to improve screening and management of maternal and fetal health. We have a proprietary device ourselves, but we also integrate with third-party connected devices. We have the ability to deliver clinical surveys to screen for things such as maternal mental health. Everything is prescribed by the doctor, and data is sent back to them. The whole idea behind using these connected technologies is essentially to eliminate barriers to accessing high-quality evidence-based care at scale. And so for moms, it's about simplifying management of pregnancy complications. For doctors, it's about improving access and adherence to guidelines. We provide peace of mind to mom by providing real-time feedback in between our appointments, and we provide doctors real-time data to help them early identify complications. At the center of our solution is a clinical-grade prenatal wearable that shifts antepartum fetal surveillance from high-cost clinical settings to the home. So all high-risk moms, regardless of what makes them high-risk, are recommended to get antepartum fetal monitoring. And the reason is that those babies have elevated risks of stillbirth or fetal injury, usually due to fetal hypoxia. And so today's standard of care requires that patient to come in twice a week to the doctor's office to get monitored, starting in the third trimester on a weekly basis. It's incredibly inconvenient for them, takes a lot of time. It also takes up a huge amount of clinical resources. And so we've developed the ability to shift that to the home using a prenatal wearable device. It's a patch-based device. The device we secured our first FDA clearance around that device last year for maternal and fetal health monitoring in home and hospital use. And we already have 15 patents for that filed, 11 granted, and 4 are pending. So in advance of commercializing our fetal monitoring solution, we have already been seeding the market with our hypertension diabetes management. So for hypertension and diabetes, these are two of the most prevalent pregnancy complications of pregnancies. They drive well over $12 to $13 billion of annual healthcare spending. And in both of these instances, there is a need for doing regular screening at home by patients. Today, this is largely done by pen and paper, where the patients have to then remember when to take it and then just mail those things back to the provider or bring them back in the prenatal care checkups. Inevitably, everyone forgets to do that. The doctors don't have the information they need to best manage the health of those pregnancies, and so there's a huge problem there. And so we digitize everything and also allow the doctors to get paid for this in a way that they're not currently today. So while there clearly is a need for all pregnant women to be monitored during their pregnancy, the immediate focus for us is high-risk pregnancies. Those are right now about 1 in 4 pregnancies are high risk, and they drive well over 70% of payer spending. And so looking at that initial market, tapping into existing reimbursement codes is about a $4.6 billion annually renewing market. That being said, we're in the process right now of building up the evidence to demonstrate that these connected care solutions can improve birth outcomes and lower costs, allowing us to shift to more value-based contracting for these high-risk pregnancies. And at that point, we look to open up about a $14 billion per year annually renewing market in the US alone. So from a competitive landscape, it's great to see more and more companies working in the maternal health space, but we stand unique by providing by far the most comprehensive care delivery platform, enabling healthcare providers to increase revenue for delivering higher quality care. where pulling together just kind of general RPM devices is pretty trivial at this point. Building advanced fetal monitoring technology is incredibly challenging. We're looking to measure very small electrophysiological signals that are buried in noise. It's our team's background, and so we're one of the few companies out there that have the technical wherewithal to develop these advanced fetal monitoring solutions. Beyond that, we have very much emphasized the need to directly integrate into clinical workflows as we natively integrate into EMRs, and all of our remote care services are fully reimbursable today, also making us unique. From a business model, we contract with healthcare providers to help them rapidly implement and deploy remote care services. Doctors order our services for their patient. We take care of fulfilling everything that they need to the patient's home. And then our partners bill insurance companies using the existing set of codes. Bloomlife is paid from that reimbursement, what amounts to about 40 to 60%, depending upon the services we're talking about. From a go-to-market perspective, we segment the market into really two main buckets: health systems and private practices. On the health system side, we've closed a strategic distribution partnership with a market leader in data visualization analysis called Paragon. They provide a software tool into hospitals and health systems to allow them to stream data from labor and delivery rooms to a central nursing station. They have a national sales team. They already have partnerships with over 500 hospitals and health systems. And as of this year, they've started selling our remote care services into their partners. From a private practice standpoint, Bloomlife is taking care of selling into those, largely focusing on the large MSOs with the idea of contracting with one practice within the larger organization, proving out clinical value, operational scalability, and financial ROI before scaling across the rest of the organization. Last year, we first launched last year with one practice to validate the workflow integration strategy and reimbursement. We went from one doctor in one practice to all 10 doctors in their practice and all 9 doctors in their practice across 4 practices now. We have now signed the largest MSO in Arizona that we're going live with this month. We have a second client that's going live in, and so this year, revenues are still ramping up. We have about $1.6 million in revenue already booked for next year with a very strong pipeline behind that. Our team has decades experience developing these advanced medical wearables. We have a large background in data science and signal processing as well as commercialization. My co-founder, Julie, and I, previously working together at IMEC, and Jessica Liberator, our head of product, has an extensive medical device background, most recently working at Cala Health. As a team, we've developed similar patch-based medical devices. Previously, while at IMEC, we developed for a company called Biotelemetry, a cardiac monitoring patch, which was later acquired by Philips for about $2.8 billion. And under a separate company called OB Medical, we developed similar fetal monitoring solutions focusing on intrapartum monitoring that was also acquired by Philips. So we are finishing off a $10 million round right now. We've actually done a first close on the first $7 million of that, $7.3 million. And the use of proceeds right now are really, one, to scale commercial reach. We know that patients love the product, we know that doctors love the product, and we know that there's reimbursement around it. So now it's about scaling up our commercial reach. We're going to continue to expand the breadth of our connected care and clinical services. So one of the key things that we see that's a critical component that was yet to be built out yet is a clinical service layer that allows us to take on more of the care on behalf of our clinical partners, and then commercializing the remote NST. So if anyone's interested in working maternal health and starting to improve birth outcomes for women globally, please come see me. Thank you.